The Lake District is a truly remarkable part of England. It sits in the northwest, a place of grand fells. Shimmering lakes reflect the wide, open sky. This region captures the hearts of all who visit. Its natural beauty is famous around the world. People come seeking peace, adventure, and inspiration. It is a landscape that speaks to the soul. A timeless welcome awaits every visitor here. This area is more than just pretty scenery. It has a unique character, a special feeling. You can sense it in the air, in the quiet valleys. The fells stand strong, shaped by ancient forces. The lakes hold stories, deep and mysterious. This character has drawn people for centuries. The Lake District is also steeped in rich history. Every path and valley has a tale to tell. Humans have lived here for thousands of years. From stone circles to Roman forts, history is everywhere. Later, poets and writers found their muse here. Exploring it is like stepping back through time. Walk the high fells or wander by the lake shores. The magic of the lakes is real and powerful. Its beauty and spirit are truly unforgettable. The story of the Lake District began long, long ago. We must travel back millions of years in time. The land we see today was not always like this. It was shaped by powerful geological forces. Volcanic eruptions were common in its early days. These fiery events laid the foundations of the fells. Imagine the earth shaking, smoke filling the sky. This was a time of dramatic earth-shaping change. The power of volcanoes was immense and transformative. Hot lava and ash spewed from the earth's core. This material cooled and hardened over millennia. It formed the rugged, dark rocks of many mountains. The Borrowdale volcanic group is a famous example. These rocks tell a story of fire and fury. Then came the Ice Ages, a time of great cold. Huge glaciers, like giant rivers of ice, moved slowly. They covered the entire landscape, thick and heavy. As they moved, they carved and sculpted the land. They gouged out deep valleys with steep sides. The ice also deepened hollows, which later filled with water. These became the beautiful lakes the region is named for. The fells and waters we admire are its children. Understanding this story makes the views even more special. The first human footprints in the Lake District are very old. Neolithic people or New Stone Age farmers arrived. This was around 5,000 years ago, a distant time. They began to clear forests and cultivate the land. They hunted animals and gathered wild plants. These early settlers left behind intriguing clues. They built monuments from stone, connecting with their world. Their lives were closely tied to the natural landscape. Mysterious stone circles dot the Lakeland Fells. Castle Rigg Stone Circle near Keswick is very famous. It stands on a raised plateau with stunning views. 38 stones form a large, impressive circle. What was its purpose? We can only guess. Perhaps it was a place for rituals or ceremonies, or maybe a meeting point for different communities. These ancient stones hold their secrets tightly. Much later, the Romans arrived in Britain. They expanded their empire into northern England. Around 2,000 years ago, they reached the Lake District. The rugged terrain was a challenge for them, but they built forts to control the local tribes. Hard Knot Roman Fort is a dramatic example. Their forts and roads tell of a different era. After the Romans left Britain, new settlers arrived. Angles, Saxons, and later Vikings or Norse people. The Norse had a big influence on the Lake District. Many place names here come from their language, words like fell for mountain and thwaite for clearing. Small farming communities began to grow in the Dales. Life was often isolated in these remote valleys. People relied on the land for their survival. Medieval life in the Lake District was very hard. The climate could be harsh, the soil often poor. People farmed the small patches of fertile land. They grew oats and barley and kept some cattle. Sheep farming became increasingly important over time. The hardy Herdwick sheep thrived on the high fells. These sheep are still a symbol of the Lake District. Their wool and meat were vital for local families. During the Middle Ages, powerful monasteries owned large areas. Furness Abbey in the south of the region was very wealthy. It controlled vast estates and many sheep farms. These farms were known as granges, run by monks or lay brothers. The monasteries played a big role in the wool trade. Wool was a valuable commodity in medieval England. These traditions helped people endure the hardships. Section 5, the dawn of industry. Mines, quarries, and changing landscapes. For centuries, farming was the main way of life, you know? But beneath the soil lay valuable minerals. Slowly, small-scale industry began to grow. Mining for copper, lead, and iron started early. The Elizabethans, in fact, encouraged copper mining near Keswick. German miners were brought in for their expertise. These early mines were often small and difficult to work, yet they marked the beginning of a new chapter, really. Places like Coniston and Honister became mining centres. The work in the mines was incredibly tough and dangerous. Miners toiled deep underground in dark, damp conditions. Accidents were common and life expectancy was short, but the minerals were valuable, driving the industry. These mining activities shaped local communities. Villages grew around the mines, dependent on their fortunes. The landscape itself began to show the scars of this work. Slate quarrying also became a major industry. Lakeland slate is known for its quality and colour. Green and blue-grey slate was highly prized for roofing. As towns and cities grew, demand for slate soared. Vast quarries were opened up on the fell sides. The Industrial Revolution further increased these demands. This period brought both work and environmental change. Section 6, A Poetic Awakening, Wordsworth and the Spirit of Romanticism. A new way of looking at nature began to emerge. This was the Romantic movement in the late 18th century. Before this, wild mountains were often seen as fearsome. But Romantic thinkers saw beauty and power in them. Nature became a source of deep inspiration and emotion. The Lake District, with its dramatic scenery, was perfect. It became a magnet for poets, writers, and artists. They sought to capture its sublime and picturesque qualities. William Wordsworth is the poet most linked with the lakes. He was born in Cockermouth on the edge of the region. He spent much of his life living among its fells. Wordsworth loved the Lake District with all his heart. He walked for miles, observing every detail. The landscapes here profoundly shaped his thinking. He believed nature could teach us about ourselves and about what it means to be human. Wordsworth's poetry celebrated the beauty of the everyday. He wrote about daffodils dancing in the breeze. He described the majesty of the mountains and lakes. His words painted vivid pictures of the lakeland scenery. He encouraged people to see nature with fresh eyes, to find joy and solace in its simple wonders. His influence on how we see the lakes is enormous. Section 7, Creative Kinships, Coleridge, Southey and the Lakeland Artists. William Wordsworth was not the only creative mind here. He had a close friend, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Coleridge was another leading figure of the Romantic poets. They spent a lot of time together in the lakes. They walked the fells discussing poetry and philosophy. Their conversations and shared experiences were very fruitful. Coleridge was deeply impressed by the grand landscapes. He found the mountains both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Coleridge also wrote some of his most powerful poetry here. He lived for a time at Greta Hall in Keswick. His poems like Kubla Khan and Christabel show his genius. He was a brilliant thinker, but also a troubled man. The dramatic scenery of the lakes fueled his imagination. He climbed Scafell Pike, England's highest mountain. His descriptions of his walks are vivid and exciting. Robert Southey was another important poet of this group. He was a friend of both Wordsworth and Coleridge. Southey also lived at Greta Hall in Keswick for many years. He became poet laureate after Wordsworth. Together, Wordsworth, Coleridge and Southey were known as the Lake Poets. They shared a love for the region and its inspiring qualities. Their writings brought the Lake District to national attention. Painters and artists also came to capture its scenery. J.M.W. Turner, one of Britain's greatest painters, visited. He created dramatic watercolours of the mountains and storms. The Lake District became a vital centre for Romantic art. Section 8. Beatrix Potter's Green Legacy, A Tale of Conservation. Beatrix Potter is another famous name linked to the lakes. She is beloved by children and adults worldwide. She loved the Lake District from her childhood holidays. Her family would escape the city for the fresh country air. She found great peace and inspiration in the lakeland scenery. The farms, animals and landscapes fascinated her. These early experiences stayed with her always. They became the backdrop for her famous stories. Her little books are cherished by millions. Peter Rabbit, Jemima Puddle Duck and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. These characters live in a world based on the Lake District. Many of the illustrations show real lakeland views. The gardens, farmyards and fellsides are all there. Her stories capture the charm of rural life. They also show her deep understanding of animals. With the success of her books, Beatrix bought a farm. Hilltop Farm near Surrey became her sanctuary. She threw herself into farming with great enthusiasm. She became an expert breeder of Herdwick sheep. This traditional Lakeland breed was very important to her. Beatrix Potter was also a pioneering conservationist. She saw that the beauty of the lakes was fragile. When she died, she left over 4,000 acres to the National Trust. Her legacy helps protect the lakes for us all. Section 9. Guarding the Fells, Modern Conservation and National Park Life. The need to protect this special place grew over time. More and more people wanted to visit the Lake District. This brought benefits, but also pressures on the environment. Campaigners worked for many years to get official protection. Finally, in 1951, a great step was taken. The Lake District National Park was established. This was a major victory for conservation. It recognized the unique value of the region. Millions of people visit the Lake District every year. They come to walk, climb, sail, or simply enjoy the views. This tourism is vital for the local economy, but it must be balanced with protecting the landscape. The sheer number of visitors can cause problems. Footpaths can erode under so many walking boots. Sensitive habitats for wildlife need careful management. There are many challenges in managing the national park. Footpath erosion is a constant concern requiring repair. Traffic congestion can be a big issue in popular areas. Protecting the diverse wildlife habitats is crucial. The Lake District National Park Authority has a big job. They work to conserve and enhance the natural beauty for everyone to enjoy now and in the future. Section 10. The Enduring Spell, a Future for the Lake District. The magic of the Lake District continues to cast its spell. For centuries it has inspired poets, artists and walkers. It still does so today for people from all walks of life. There is something truly special about this place. Perhaps it is the scale of the fells, or the light on the water, or maybe the sense of peace found in its quiet corners. Whatever it is, its power to move us remains strong. It is a landscape that stays in your memory. This is a living, breathing landscape, not a museum. It is constantly changing with the seasons. The weather can transform the views in minutes. Farming traditions continue to shape the dales. Communities live and work within its boundaries. While it evolves, its essential character remains timeless. This blend of change and constancy is part of its appeal. Sustainable tourism is absolutely vital for its future. We all have a part to play in protecting the lakes. Visitors are encouraged to respect the environment. Supporting local businesses helps the community. By being mindful, we can help preserve its beauty. The Lake District offers an inspiring message of hope. The enduring spell of the Lake District will continue.